So I want to tell you a few things about the new range extender batteries from Bosch and how they've been used on Muller bikes, what's the benefits of them and also some of what the downsides are as well. So if you're an avid Muller fan, you'll probably know that Muller have been really popular for making a supercharger and a Superdelite. And essentially, this is using the old Bosch System 2, and the super part of it is all about the fact that they were dual battery bikes. And the way that Muller applied that was by having one battery mounted in the top tube here and another one in the down tube. The benefits of that system that they used to have was that we could basically pair together two batteries and they would work in the bike like they were one enormous battery. On the supercharger, we were able to have a 1,250 watt-hour battery. That's absolutely massive. It was made up of a combination of two 625 watt-hour batteries. Now, on the System 2, that was great because what you could do is you could plug your bike into the charger, port on the bike, sorry, and then you could charge the two batteries up till full, and you wouldn't have to take them out at all. Now, as Bosch have moved on to their new smart system, they haven't made a dual battery system, if you like, as they had on the old System 2. So that means that they have kind of done it, but in a very different way. So what they've done is they've given us obviously the one battery in the down tube. Now the one battery in the down tube is significantly bigger. So whereas they used to be 625, they're now 750 watt hours. It's a big battery. But the way they've got these big capacities that we want is by adding these Powermore batteries. And I always get this name wrong. They're range extender batteries. I think they're called Bosch Powermore or something like that. But essentially, they're a 250 watt hour additional battery that's mounted here on the bottle tube. So these bikes, although we can't get the capacity as high as they were on the old dual battery bikes, we still have the ability to have a significant capacity. So these two batteries now combined are 1,000 watt hours. Good thing about that is, say that's not enough and we want the capacity of the 1,250 that we used to have on our superchargers, all we have to do is buy an additional one of these and then chuck it in our bag. That comes with another nice benefit is, if you imagine this is now split into two, so you don't have to carry all of those if you don't want them. So you can start leaving them behind quite easily. The other thing is, this 750 watt hour battery that's in the down tube here is enormous. So that's going to cover you for a lot of the riding that you're doing. And if you are doing some of the big days around some of the hills and everything, you can always chuck either this on the frame or this and another one in the bag to get those massive capacities we're after. There are, however, some downsides to it, I guess, if you can sort of call them downsides. This battery is mounted external to this frame. Now, it's great because it's quickly removable, but personally I did love those extra batteries in the frame. They looked pretty cool, but the benefit of this is it does come off very easily. I'm just going to attempt to show you how. Probably get it wrong. There you go. So it does come off quite easily, and it's just mounted onto a bottle rack. So in theory, if you've got a Charger 4 already, you could buy one of these as an upgrade to it. And as long as you've got the right plug socket on the side, we can guide you and tell you whether it's the right one or not. Essentially, you can clip this on and you can plug it straight in and get the extra capacity. When you come to charge the batteries, you can't charge this one and this one at the same time on the bike, because obviously your charger plugs into the same socket that this battery plugs into. So you would have to charge one on the bike and then afterwards recharge this one. I guess what you probably would do is exactly what we did last night, was when we got to our hotel, we took both the batteries out, we took them in. Whilst we went out for beers and dinner, we plugged in the small battery to charge first, because that will obviously charge pretty quickly. And then overnight we plugged in the 750 and we let that one charge up. So that's the way you would manage your battery charging. Another weird thing about these, and it hasn't actually caused us a problem, but I'm sure it's going to sort of have people worried, is the way that this battery provides its power onto the bike is through this cable that we've got. So there's a separate cable coming out that plugs in, so there's always going to be a little loop of cable sitting there. Now I guess worst case scenario, it pulls out the bottom of the battery and unlocks itself, but sometimes it looks a little bit exposed. But yesterday we did some pretty tough stuff with these. I think we probably submerged them by accident as well, and it didn't miss a heartbeat. It was absolutely solid. So whilst it might look a little precarious, they've obviously thought it through. This is a combination of Bosch and Reese and Muller. They're bound to have tested it, and it seems to work pretty well. Other things on these, when we had the old Bosch System 2, we actually had the choice of a 2 amp, a 4 amp or a 6 amp charger. They were called like a compact, standard and a fast charger. These new Smart System bikes only come with a 4 amp charger, whereas on the old Superchargers and Superdelites you'd be able to get a 6 amp charger, which was a fast charger, because you would essentially be plugging in and charging the 2 batteries at once. These you're going to charge them separately, so it's a 4 amp charger only for that. So whilst it's a little bit slower, I wouldn't get too upset. We easily charged these in time for our ride today after having run them pretty much flat yesterday. There's a real trend in the market at the moment that everybody wants a bigger and bigger and bigger battery, and if Bosch bring out a bigger battery, the 750 is a prime example of that, people gravitate towards it because the 625 was never enough. The same happened when they moved from a 500 to a 625. Nobody would buy the 500 anymore. But what you've got to bear in mind is that if you carry a battery that is too big for the ride that you're doing, you're basically carrying dead weight with you everywhere you go. And weight has a big impact on the range that you're going to get from it, and also how it can deliver that 250 watts. So having more batteries isn't going to give you any more power at all. So if anything, it's going to slow the bike down. So a nice thing about being able to quickly chuck one of these off and still have this massive 750 watt hour battery is that you're going to be able to do a lot of your leisure rides that you're doing at the weekends and stuff with just one battery. So try not to get too carried away. I can imagine people coming in and saying, I want the 750, plus I want 2 of these, and you know, the ones to go in the back and everything, so I'm going to be loaded up. You're going to end up with a very, very heavy bike, which is fine if you're going to be doing multiple days of riding off-road. But if you're doing it because you're nervous about how far you're getting, I would start by using the 750, see how you get on, and then maybe upgrade to this. I'm just going to show you as well the size of the battery. So this is a 250 watt that I picked off earlier. The 750s, pretty big batteries that they managed to squeeze in these down tubes, but they're also really easy to remove as well. So there's a lock on your bike up here. One key, finger in the top there, drop this out. And that is the size of a 750 watt hour battery. It's absolutely enormous, and it weighs quite a bit as well. So if you're loading these onto the back of a car on a cycle rack and one of those tow ball type things, do remove the batteries obviously, and it just makes it so much lighter. Weight of this I can't remember. It's in excess of 4 kilograms, I'm sure. But it's a big old lump of power that you've got there. Putting it back in is really simple. Here we go. Put the bottom in, give it a little wiggle just to get it into place. Knocks up, turn the key, click it in, turn the key, take it out. Job done. That's it. That's how easy it is to take the batteries in and out of these bikes. You can actually ride these with just the 250 range extender on them. So if you were doing a really short trip, I can't really think in my head why you're going to do this, but you can do it. Short trips, maybe you go to work and it's very close. You can drop out the 750 and you can ride it on a 250 watt hour battery. You're going to get them between 10 and 20 miles out of this, but this is going to be light and it's going to be quick. So that's going to be quite a nice thing just to try. If all of this is really confusing, I'm not surprised. It is confusing, especially with all the options, all the batteries and everything. Then why not give us a call or book yourself into our Cotswold showroom and come and have a go on it. Go and see how far you're actually going to get with these batteries. We've got a massive hill right by our showroom. Stick it in turbo and ride it straight up to the top and see how much battery you use. I can guarantee it's probably going to be 1 or 2% at the very most, and then you'll get a feeling for the range you're actually going to get from one of these bikes. Yes, smashed it. Get out. Let's go. Woo-hoo. Right, let's go ride bikes. Woohoo! In our wellies. Oh, I stood in cow who cares?
That's literally what they're made for.
It is, isn't it?